been discussed many times. There's been a bunch of conflicting information about it, but fans are still wondering about the end of Ninjago, or more precisely, when it will end. Believe it or not, Ninjago did technically end back in 2012, and sort of ended in 2019, but the series as a whole is still continuing. About a year ago, co-creator Tommy Andreasen himself confirmed that Ninjago will continue for 2 more years as of July 18th of that year. Yep, after 2019 or 2020, Ninjago will remain until 2022. That's when I'm in my junior year of college, by the way. In 2021, the 10th anniversary of Ninjago, we will get 2 more seasons, and in 2022, we will have at least 2 seasons. That's 4 more seasons of Ninjago within a span of 2 years, so it will have 17 seasons altogether. Don't quote me on that though, I didn't do any research. It's funny because people are begging for the show to continue and have no ending, like they'd be lost without it. Look, no disrespect to those people. I don't want to be that guy who's always cynical, dramatic, and hates everything, but we can't be in denial that Ninjago will end eventually. So we know the when, but we don't know the how. So today, I'm going to be listing several ways as to how I think the final season could go down. None of this stuff is confirmed, so don't go running around with it as fact though. It's theorizing galore in this video, which I'm not expecting to become a reality when we get closer to the end. If I accidentally cause you to get butthurt for saying something sacrilegious about your favorite character, then well, good riddance. Number 1. The Final Battle 2.0. Ever since Season 3, we haven't seen Golden Power. The last person to use it was the Overlord after stealing a large slice of it from Lloyd, and the remainder of it was shared evenly between the ninja. There is a possibility that the finale to the series could end with another Season 2 finale related plot. If that's the case, then we could see Lloyd regain his golden power to defeat the Overlord again, or some other dark menace. Although it would be a little repetitive, as we just saw something like that way back in the original ending, it would be a nice little homage to the final battle. Here's the thing though, they might nerf Lloyd a bit because of how OP he is with the golden power. Looking what they did with him after Season 2, he lost his golden power to the Overlord halfway in Season 3. And that was the intention. The writers didn't want Lloyd to become too overpowered throughout the rest of the series, so they took the golden power away to make things seem more grounded. I mean seriously, if he kept his golden power during the Tournament of Elements, he would have knocked the soul out of everyone. If the story revolves around him getting the powers of his grandfather back, it would not only be cool to see more of the golden power, but it would bring up problems like how did he regain his powers, and why did it take so long for him to get them back? It would also bring up issues like, once you make Lloyd a super ninja, where do you go from there? And that's never been what the series is about. Don't get me wrong, the final battle was cool and all, but Lloyd wasn't supposed to get God mode, hence why the Overlord stole his pot of gold. This is probably the least likely thing to happen. Number 2. The Return of the Overlord. The Overlord is one of, if not the most ruthless and darkest villain in Ninjago. Due to his role as being the embodiment of all that is evil, he is an important character that should not be put on the sidelines when the series finale goes down, similar to how Darth Sidious returned in The Rise of Skywalker. Essentially, he returns as the main and final antagonist in the series. The last time we saw him on screen was when he was defeated by Zane, resulting in both of their deaths. Now the main question on everyone's mind ever since then is, will the Overlord return again? And if so, how and why? Fanbase is clearly at a divide right here. I'm certain that the Overlord is not just another throwaway villain that needs to be relevant for 1 or 2 seasons alone. He holds much more significance than that. When the first Fujitsu Master created Ninjago, they fought each other for control of the land. That alone just proves how important he is to Ninjago's history. But what they could do is experiment on the narrative. Maybe have the finale focus on the Overlord's perspective. Show the audience why the Overlord is not only the archenemy of the first Fujitsu Master, but why the two fought for control of Ninjago besides their roles in the balance. Illustrate his own reasoning for fighting and his point of view about the balance besides being the incarnation of evil. Make him a little relatable. Perhaps his reasoning for fighting the first Fujitsu Master was because they had clashing ideas on the balance and how it should be maintained. He is a being of imbalance and just wants to watch the world burn.
I thought my jokes were bad.
Or maybe he was building a sandcastle one day and the first Fujitsu Master stepped on it. You could still keep the essentials. The Overlord returns, and the ninja have to fight him, but the character development is more focused on the Overlord. That would be an interesting route to take because it will not only surprise the general audience, but the fans as well. It'll keep them on the edge of their seat, and the qualities in terms of character development will make more people like the villain. It might make this finale longer, but it definitely make for a stronger bad guy to close off the series. Number 3. Spinning to a spin-off. As far as we know, we still have time until the final season, and we have no idea what it's about. It literally could be anything, maybe even setting up a spin-off. As to what kind of spin-off, I have no idea, but it could focus on the secondary characters that are kind of in the afterthought. A prime example of this would be Skylar. She had a major role in seasons 4, 6, and 9. She appeared in seasons 5, 7, and 10, but only in a cameo role. She's usually given the short end of the stick when it comes to storytelling, but a spin-off story that focuses on her alone could actually happen. She really deserves a chance in the spotlight. Even if she doesn't become a ninja or a team member in the end, people still tend to act like she doesn't exist. No joke, someone in my comment section said that Kai should marry the fanfiction character Joy Garma-Done instead of Skylar. The storyline could be anything. It could be about her adventures during the events of either seasons 8 or 11. I heard about a scrapped storyline called Amber Legacy, which focused more about her past, so they could slide that into the mix. If they don't make a spin-off series about her, they could focus on other characters like Pixel, Ronin, Dareth, or maybe the elemental masters of either the Serpentine War era or the current era. Pixel's story could follow her adventures as Samurai X during the one-year time skip between seasons 7 and 8. Ronin's story could be about his younger life and how he owed a debt to Soul Archer. Dareth's story could focus on him trying to become a ninja and mastering his brown power during the events of season 11. Yeah, make the clumsy oaf an actual ninja. Bring up his brown power, make it something useful. The Elemental Master story could be about what they've been doing between seasons 4 and 9. A series about Vanya and her time as the Queen of Shintaro is also a possibility. I'm just spitballing here. A spin-off series could be great for world building and give the side characters a chance in the spotlight while taking a break from the regular 6 ninja. And speaking of which, number 4, the new ninja. Let's assume that the final season will be the end of the road for the ninja team as we know it. Not the allies, but the founding members. This theory suggests that all of them, Lloyd, Kai, Cole, Jay, Zane, and Nia, will all be killed off before the finale finishes. I personally think that's not really gonna do. Killing off the biggest moneymakers isn't such a wise idea. You only need to kill off 1 or 2 to raise the stakes. Besides, the reflections of Kai, Jay, Zane, and Nia's futures are some things to consider, unless they retcon the reflections or have them retire from the team. Still, as far-fetched as the concept is, it would open the door for the ninja team to consist of new members, such as Pixel, Skylar, Dareth, Ronin, and maybe some of the Elemental Masters. Akita could also join the team, but she's staying in the Never Realm, so never mind. Heck, put Lil Nelson on the team. They could put in new characters into the team as well, such as the ninja's children. Either way, this would be a great reassurance that the team will live on without the original members. Unless they disband it after the founding members retire, or die. Number 5. Garmadon might be Garma-Done. Garmadon's been around since 2011, and he's arguably one of the best villains across the board. He originally died in that one season with the gas cloud, but they brought him back in season 8 to keep him around just a little bit longer. He was resurrected as a villain for sure, but after season 10, he's pretty much an anti-hero at this point. So if he returns for the finale, he could start off as being on the Overlord's side because the evil parts of him were reborn, but turns on him at the last second when he's about to do something drastic. Then, lo and behold, the Overlord is a tougher cookie than he imagined. He gives his brother, son, and wife one last goodbye look and gets punched into oblivion. Lloyd gets enraged and tries to attack the Overlord, but he gets the better of him by using his anger against him. He doesn't necessarily have to kill Lloyd, but just injure him like he did earlier in season 2. He would then say, "No resurrections this time," quoting Thanos after he killed Loki. The whole character development of the reborn Garmadon becoming more human has been built up from his affection for Harumi, to the Oni invasion, to Lloyd, and they could tie up all loose ends with the Overlord. This may seem far-fetched, but there are still some ways to use Garmadon, and if the writers are smart enough, he could still make him important. Number 6. Ninjago. Almost every time the ninja do spinjitzu, and sometimes air jitsu, they keep saying, "Just go! Ninja go! Ninja go! Ninja go! Ninja go! Ninja go!" But ever since season 8, they no longer say it, although they say it sometimes in season 11. Probably because they're getting tired of shouting it as it's starting to get stale and cringy, or because the tone of the story was keeping things more serious instead of upbeat. Some speculate that the ninja no longer use Airjitsu or elemental dragons because of some time travel shenanigans by Wuwa, Chronix, and Crux back in Season 7, but it's because the writers nerfed them a bit by taking those abilities away to make things as grounded as possible. They could bring back the iconic Ninjago during the final season, similar to how Captain America said, "Avengers Assemble" in Avengers Endgame. Number 7. Reflect on the past and build for the future. In Season 5, the ninja came across the crystal walls, which showed the reflections of their future, except for Cole and Lloyd. Now, I don't want to get into too much detail on why that's the case, but it is evident that Kai, Zane, Jay, and Nia survived to the end somehow. Lloyd's fate is just as ambiguous as Cole's, so we have no idea what will happen to both of them in the future. But with their design updates in Season 8, there's a bit of a plot hole, but hey, retcons exist for a reason, so what I'm about to say next may or may not be true. But this theory suggests that the series will end by skipping ahead to the future, where the ninja each become Sensei and train the next generation of ninja and elemental masters. And these new ninja/warriors consist of their children. Zane and Pixel have a child that mirrors both their designs and possesses the power of ice. Jay and Nia have 2 children that possess the powers of lightning and water. In addition, the children of Kai and Skylar possess the fire and amber elements. Cole and Vanya have an albino-looking kid that possesses the power of earth, while Lloyd has a son or daughter that has the elemental powers of energy. Not so sure about that one though. If you go down the list of who Lloyd could possibly end up with, Akita or Racer 7 are the best bets. Akita did show some level of affection for him, but again, she's in the Never Realm, and Racer 7 is still somewhere in Ninjago, and she's interacted with him the most, and they may have formed a tiny connection at the end of Prime Empire. And obviously no Harumi because... There are some stubborn troopers claiming that she isn't really dead, and that she was carrying Traveler's Tea or something. If it helps you sleep at night, then that's what she was carrying. Anyways, cool things start to happen in the future. Ninjago City becomes a utopian settlement, where everything is technologically advanced. Hover cars are used. Holographic imagery replaces billboards. More robots are created to do tasks with humans. Werq Tower becomes Ninjago's version of the Burj Khalifa, and they establish contact and peace with alien races. The sky's the limit when depicting what the future could look like during the final season. Setting up a new team could allow the theme to end the story of the original while simultaneously crafting a new one, carrying the line forward. This would open the doors to create a new series titled Ninjago: The Next Generation. Something fancy like that. Number 8. An Infinity War. Obviously, do not label the final season Infinity War. You're gonna get snapped out of existence for copy and pasting titles. Don't do that. What I'm saying is, take inspiration from the third team-up movie of the MCU. Have the main villain, preferably the Overlord, take possession of the most powerful artifacts in the history of Ninjago, the Golden Weapons. He could use them to inflict his will on reality. As to how he proceeds to do that, I have no idea. The weapons are also confirmed to be depowered and useless, and if that's the case, then rest in peace. However, the Overlord probably doesn't need them anyways. Besides, he's probably been regaining his strength to become as powerful as can be. If you ever saw my Ninjago Infinity War video, then you know what will happen next. The season could end with the defeat of everyone. The ninja lose and the Overlord wins. If things go down like this, then that would be a very ballsy way to end the series. But it may cause some uproars and fan divide. They could also have a special, or a TV movie, or start a new series that resolves the conflict, or they could put this in the penultimate installment, and save the true finale for... Number 9. The Endgame. Every finale has a big climactic battle. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes not so much. With Ninjago being around for many years, it definitely should have a final duel between the heroes and the villains in the climax of the finale. Have the ninja and all their allies take a final stand against a dark villain like the Overlord in a grand series conclusion. When the Overlord overpowers the ninja, making it seem like all hope is lost, but every single individual that the ninja have affiliated themselves with in the past comes to aid them. Pixel, Skylar, Ronin, Dareth, Misako, Rei, Maya, Akita, the Serpentine, the Elemental Masters, the Dragons, and the Dragon Hunters from the First Realm, Vanya and the Skyfolk from Shintaro, uniting against the Overlord and his own army in a culminating battle for the fate of Ninjago. And heck, maybe even the entire universe if they want to raise the stakes. It would also be considered the largest battle in the history of Ninjago due to its monumental scale. It would serve as the final payoff and the most cinematic moment in Ninjago's run, even being more groundbreaking than its original ending way back in 2012, because this time, it's an actual group effort, as well as an epic ending to an awesome series. Number 10. The Death of a Ninja. This one is kind of piggybacking off of the Reflections of the Future thing, but hey, I'm running out of ideas and I'm trying to make it to 12, so when the ninja were looking for the tomb of the first Ninjitsu master, Kai, Zane, and Jay saw the reflections of their older selves. Cole didn't see anything, and that raised a lot of questions. Some are saying that he will die in the future, some are saying that it's because he's a ghost. Well, now that he's a human, it could mean that he does actually die. And he's not the only ninja whose future is unknown still. We never saw Lloyd's reflection. This theory suggests that either Lloyd or Cole will be killed off sometime during the finale, or maybe both will die. Not so sure on both possibilities though. Honestly, they could go either way. Anyways, it could answer the question to Cole and Lloyd's fates that Season 5 foreshadowed way back when. The point is, Cole's death would be a very moving moment that actually strengthens his character in a great way. Hopefully his death will go down in a heroic and tragic sacrifice like Zane. But please don't kill him off and then bring him back 5 seconds before the episode ends. You've gotta commit. You've gotta follow through with his death. Just bringing him back after he died would only cheapen its impact. I'm not saying that I hate Cole, but if his death was set up in 2015, then it should come to pass when the series ends. Okay, that's the last of the Reflections of the Future theories, I promise. Number 11. A new Sensei. I said I wouldn't talk about the Reflections thing anymore, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't talk about characters dying. Sensei Wu has taught the ninja so many things during the time span of Ninjago's run. Some of it is more about common sense, others are actual words of wisdom. He's that kind of character that usually teaches the main protagonist lessons about life and ends up dying. He's been at death's door more than once. The first was when he and Pythor were eaten by the Great Devourer, and the second being his deteriorating body thanks to Achronix's time punch. Despite that, he is always able to pull through, because he's Sensei Wu. Yeah, I'll leave the internet, I promise. The creators could have been saving that sad ending for the greater, grander installment set to release during 2022 or whatever. Killing off Wu doesn't mean the end of the Sensei title, as the ninja could take it, but if they do kill him, I don't think the Magnificent Six should gain that title just yet. But I think they should gain it if there's a time skip from Wu's death. It would be a final payment of respect for the man who taught them how to become ninja, the art of spinjitzu, and life in general. As iron sharpens iron, Sensei sharpens student. Number 12. A Green Destiny Fulfilled. If you were to ask me who would have their heads knocked off before the series ends, Cole or Lloyd, I'd say both of them. I've already explained why Cole would be a likely candidate to die in my 10th concept, but as to why Lloyd would most likely die, in terms of character development, it makes sense. Starting back in 2012, he was a bratty kid who released the Serpentine. Fast forward to 2018, and he's essentially responsible for why Harumi lost her parents during the Great Devourer's rampage. His character arc will come full circle. Him sacrificing his life to redeem himself and make up for the pain he's caused in the past would not only be as tragic as when, spoiler alert, Iron Man died in Avengers Endgame. Another reason as to why he could die is because of his role in the balance. He is essentially the reincarnation of the first Ninjitsu master. They both have golden power, which is the most OP power in Ninjago. If the story does end with the Overlord's actual death, Lloyd would also have to die. Think about it. They both represent two sides of the balance between good and evil. Where there is light, there must be shadows. If the Overlord does die, they would also have to kill off Lloyd to keep the logistics of the balance instead of having him survive the whole ordeal. But hopefully he'll go down in a heroic way as a great bravo to the closure, bringing it all the way back to the first season that kicked this whole thing off. So you wouldn't have a more emotional response if you killed the solid foundation. You know what'd be worse though? If Lloyd blew himself up kamikaze style to kill the Overlord, but Wu or Garma-Done or whatever revives the Green Ninja. Anyways guys, those were 12 ways I came up with as to how the Ninjago series finale could end. How do you think it will play out? Do you think the Overlord will return as the main villain? Do you think we'll see some characters die? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I really hope you enjoyed this one as it took quite a while for me to edit. If you haven't yet, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed. Also, consider following me on Twitter at King Night Fury. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!